Rose Siggins sparkles for the camera with the poise of a supermodel, but she says she's just as ordinary as you or me, except for the fact that she has no legs.
To explain to people of my condition, usually what I tell them is the Barbie doll analogy, and you take the Barbie doll and you just pop the legs off the Barbie doll, and what remains of the body is me, just without the legs.
Rose Siggins was born with multiple birth defects known as sacral agenesis. She has no legs, no pelvis, and no spine below her rib cage.
I was never really allowed to use the word no or I can't. If I sat there and I said, I can't do this, why can't you? You know, just do it. I mean, if I couldn't keep up with the kids that were running down the block, my dad would be like, well, hey, why don't you get on a skateboard or something? And it was just their support and them building up my confidence that made me the person that I am today.
Rose's story is also a love story that begins with how she met Dave, her husband, long after they'd first started talking to one another.
I used to work in an automotive repair shop, and he used to work at an auto parts store. And of course, we ordered our parts through him. So we just talked on the phone. We'd been talking on the phone for at least 4 or 5 months before we actually met. One day, we forgot to get some parts from him, so I volunteered, I'll go down, I'll get them.
So Rose hopped on her skateboard and headed down to where Dave worked.
Well, the first thing was I thought that was the neatest way in the world for her to get around and overcome her difference instead of using a wheelchair or really having much assistance.
It was kind of neat, you know, I thought he was kind of cute, and went back to the shop, and eventually we just became friends and had went out a few times.
Once you know Rose, the best thing about her is she is no different than anybody else. You see her like she has a set of legs because she gets around, does things that you and I would do.
When I was younger, it really bothered me when someone would come up and ask, why don't you have any legs? Why are you like that? And I had slightly a bad attitude about it. But as I've grown up, I've realized that the reason people ask is just curiosity. They're so curious. And once you satisfy their curiosity, they're happy and content. And they're able to overcome that indifference that you have and look at you as the person that you are. Ready?
Perhaps their strongest connection was their mutual love for cars.
There's just so many things that we had in common that I hadn't found in a lot of the other women that I had been with. They like ballet, you like to go see monster trucks, and, you know, so you're going to the monster trucks alone.
What started out as a friendship slowly blossomed into something much deeper. And as it did, Rose began to wonder, could she achieve the ultimate expression of love by having a child?
Growing up, I was more of a tomboy, so I never really thought about that. But once I became a teenager, I wanted to, but I wasn't really sure. And I never really went to a doctor to find out, because as a girl, you don't want to find out that you can't have children.
But after dating Dave for more than 2 years, Rose got an answer to her question. She got pregnant. Immediately, she knew she needed a special kind of doctor.
The doctors that were here in Pueblo, I'm not going to say they weren't supporting for me, but they weren't real familiar with my condition.
After 2 doctors told her it was too dangerous for her to continue her pregnancy, Rose finally found one who agreed to see her through it, even though he had no prior experience with sacral agenesis. The doctor opted to monitor Rose carefully and see what happened.
He was just full of confidence, and, you know, every time I went there, I mean, it was all new to him. And he says, look, you know, the baby, it looks great. You're doing good, you know, keep up the good work.
Could Rose carry a child to term? Even Rose's determination to succeed could be undone by circumstances beyond her control.
The baby is developing at a fast rate, and what our main concern was room. And would the child have enough room to grow inside me? Would it not?
At the age of 25, Rose learned her life was about to change forever. She was pregnant, but doctors warned that in trying to bring another life into the world, Rose's own life would be at risk.
What our main concern was room. And would the child have enough room to grow inside me? Would it not? Then we would run into the problem of my lungs not being able to expand, and then that would limit myself to breathing and even possibly stop.
But Rose wanted this baby. She and her doctor scheduled a cesarean delivery at 35 weeks, as soon as the baby's lungs were fully developed.
I knew that at 6 o'clock that evening I was going to be a mom. There was no backing out. There was no, I changed my mind. I was scared.
On January 6th, 1999 at 6 p.m., Rose delivered a boy she named Luke. But did he have 10 perfect toes and 10 flawless fingers? 3 days went by before she felt strong enough to leave her bed and go see her baby for the first time.
We come down and he's laying in his little bed and he has all these little wires and tubes all over him, and I just looked at him and they picked him up and they put him in my arms, and I was overwhelmed with so much joy and happiness, and to look at him and see him cry and move his arms, and he was kicking his legs, and tears. It was just tears of joy. That I could possibly bring something that beautiful into the world. And he's perfect, and he was normal, and he's going to have a normal life.
Although the delivery was normal and her baby was fine, Rose soon found out there were still some obstacles in her way.
Okay. And every day it seems like it's a challenge with Luke. I'm not sure if it's every mom has those tasks set in front of her that she needs to overcome. I think a lot of them are easier. It's easy for a mom to go into the crib when their baby's crying and pick them up and walk them around. It's something that I can't do, but, Dave's able to do it for me.
Get that thing off my face, Dad. Off my face.
Luke, who's just turned a year old, is almost as tall as his mother, but Rose just sees that as an advantage, at least for now.
I think when he starts to crawl and he's able to be real mobile on the ground, we're both at the same height. So I don't think there'll be much he can get into that I won't know that he's getting into first.
But there was still one milestone left for this incredible woman. With their new baby in attendance, Rose and Dave tied the knot.
Good. Eyes to me. Nice.
Always having a smile on your face somehow makes climbing over that one barrier a lot easier. But why not have a sense of humor in life? Life's not that bad. God dealt me a pretty good hand.